Guys, we still factor in here the trinomials. That means three terms. Remember, trinomials is three terms. And then where a equals to 1, and this is our trinomial here, ax squared plus bx plus c. So a is equal to 1. So that means the number in front of x squared is equal to 1. That's the only time where we can just use, the method that we're going to use right now. That's what we call the AC method, correct? So we're using the AC method in order to do this problem, okay? So that's called the AC method. So let's go at it. So we got x squared plus 15xy plus 14y squared. So what's basically happening here? So we got three terms, a equals to 1. So the first thing we said we got to do is to pull out a, b, and c, right? A equals to 1, b equals to what? Negative 15, c equals to what? Positive 14, right? And then we can multiply a by c to get ac, and then 1 times 14, okay, is going to give us 14. So it's 1 times 14, which is going to give us 14. And once we get 14, we're looking for two numbers that we multiply give you 14. So the multiples. But at the same time, the two numbers got to add up to give you what? Negative 15, the b. Okay? Again, two numbers that we multiply give you positive 14. And the same two numbers add up will give you negative 15. So what are the multiples of 14? We got 1 and 14, right? We got 2 and 7, right? What else do we have? Nothing else, correct? So now, when we multiply these, we get 14. But when it comes to adding to get negative 15, now we got to test it out, correct? So 1 times 14 is 14. 1 plus 14 is positive 15, but we're looking for negative 15. What's going to happen? So these two numbers got to be different signs, so that when you multiply, it gives you a positive 14, and when you add, you carry the negative sign, which is negative 15. So negative and negative in this case, right? So this is the one that we work out, because when you take 2 and 7, let's go at it. So 2 times 7, 14, but if you add 2 and 7, that gives you what? 9. Or if you subtract, that gives you 5. Positive or negative, 5, depends on where you place the negative sign. So that means this is the only one that can work out for you. So we end up with negative 15. And then what do we do after that? Now, guess what? You have x and then y. So in our previous videos, we didn't have x and y. We only had x. So it was pretty simple. We just put it in there. This one also is still simple, but it just has a little twist to it. Which means what? So again, we're going to carry the numbers in there. It doesn't matter which one you come up with first. So you say negative 1, and then here you put the y. You add the y to it. And then you have x, and then you have negative 14, y also. Okay? So in math, a lot of times we do not carry the 1. We take it away. Okay? So we keep it as x minus y times x minus 14y. That's what our final answer is going to be. Like we said before, this can also be all x minus 14y times x minus y as well. Okay? And then we can check it if you want to. So let's do that. So let's check it out and see what we have. We're going to check it by using the Fourier method, by multiplying. So that's multiplication. So we take any of these two. So let's say we have x minus y times x minus 14y. So we're going to use the Fourier method, which is the first, the inner, the outer, the inner, and then the last, right? So the Fourier method, F is the first, the outer, the inner, and then the last. Okay? In US, that's what we use. Okay? So in the USA, American style, this is what we use, right? So in other, places also, there are different names to it, but they're the same method, correct? So then we have x times x, that's the first, right? So that's the first. So that will give us what? X squared. So the outer, x times negative 14 y. So that will give us what? That will give us negative 14xy. Now we have the inner. So that will give us what? Negative xy. And then we have the last, which is positive 14y squared. And then we got to combine whatever possible. That means these two that we have in common, we got to combine them together. So we have x squared, negative 14xy, and negative 1xy. That would give us what? Negative 15xy, then plus 14y squared. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is your final. This is the same thing as this one here. It's just to check to make sure that we're doing the right thing. But our final answer when it comes to this problem was already either one of these two. Okay? So that's all we have for this one. Let's carry for the second question here. So we have x squared plus xy minus 30y squared. Okay? Again, over here, we're dealing with x and then y as variables. So we got to be a bit careful when it comes to our answer. So what is our a here? A equals to 1. Our b is also 1. And then our c is negative 30. Okay? So again, we're using the AC method, right? So that means we're multiplying a by c. So a times c is going to give us what? Negative 30. And then now we're going to break it up. We're going to break it down. What are the multiples of negative 30? Okay? So we got 1 and 30, for example. We got 6 and 5, for example. Okay? We got 2 and 15, for example. 2 and 15. We got 3 and 10, for example. So pretty much, guys, ladies and gentlemen, your multiplication table, it's in need right now, okay? So don't forget your multiplication table is following you wherever you're going, especially when it comes to math or, do other things as well. So now we got to figure out which one will add now to give us positive 1. And then again, I do not put the signs here yet. I just carry with the numbers, and then we can add the signs when we're going to add and subtract to get the positive 1. So can we add or subtract 1 and 30 to get positive 1? No. Can we add or subtract 6 and 5 to get positive 1? And then negative 30? It's possible, okay? So plus 6 and minus 5, when you multiply, that gives you what? Negative 30. When you add, that gives you what? Positive 1. Okay, so actually this is the one that you were looking for, okay? But the more you become an expert with these, the quicker you get it. You don't even need to do this. We're doing this because for now, we know that we are not yet an expert in doing this problem. But once we get practice, then we're good. We understand what's happening, the foundation. We just got to get going. All right? So this is actually, because if you check these, so 2 and 15, is there any way where you're going to add or subtract to get you positive 1? No. All right? How about 3 and 10? No. Going to give you 7 or negative 7. For the 2, it's going to give you 17, or you're going to get, or this one's going to be 13. So it would never give you that. So you end up with positive 6, negative 5. And then that means what? That means you have x here, okay? X and x like we do before. But in this case, don't forget, you're dealing with y. So let's go. We got positive 6y and then x negative 5y. Or the other one also again, it doesn't matter if you don't put it. And this will also be your final answer when it comes to this problem here. Ladies and gentlemen, now you're becoming an expert. Okay?